not every single legendary hero and hero pair is not perfect in Call of Dragons. That's why it is important to understand which heroes you have to invest, and of course we have been doing the meta report on this channel every couple of months, and I think it's time for us to speak about meta hero pairs for every single troop type in the game. No matter if you are infantryman, cavalry or mage, I think you have to know which heroes you have to put your legendary tokens, and also on the battlefield, especially if you are ranged player, you have to know which tanks, which infantry heroes are meta and where you have to focus. So that's why we're gonna roll over with the every single troop type. I will try to share my ideas, and some troop types will have 2 hero pairs which are OP, some of them are having 1, but of course we have to still speak about that. First one which I want to speak is of course mages, right? Because we finally got new mage hero pair in the game, and of course they are basically totally different from what we have known in the past. So, meta hero pairs for mage players, first one for sure is everything which you are going to pair it to Yun Ming, right? Yun Ming is the meta legendary mage hero, which is absolutely amazing with almost every single other mage heroes. Basically, this one legendary hero can do enough and so much that you don't even have to think too much where you are going to pair him. Like even Yun Ming with Gromara, Yun Ming with Thunderlin, Yun Ming with Welin, with Thalia. Basically everything is going to be working well with this legendary hero. Plus, of course, main ideas about Yun Ming is that you don't even have to have rage, right? Which means basically every single second which you are going to have this hero in open field, you are going to deal a lot of damage. Generally, mage heroes actually need some time to actually get enough rage to use their skills, but this hero is built totally differently, and hopefully everybody is using this hero if you are mage player, right? If you would ask me what would be the best possible hero pair for Yun Ming, I would still go for Gromara, right? I would still go from Gromara. Skill damage bonuses and in general the bonuses which Gromara is giving you for Yun Ming is of course really important. That whole idea about Yun Ming and Gromara is that you have to try your best to make this hero stay alive as long as possible, right? And generally I believe for ranged players you should always play defensive formation, defensive strategy, and that's how you are actually getting a lot of merits, right? Before it was Lilia, before it was Welin, but time has passed and Yun Ming and Gromara is the one. And finally, we got second hero pair and second meta heroes, which it will be my prediction, right? I predict that Bardun and Kantaman will be top tier mage hero pair, right? Simply because these two heroes are basically anti-infantry heroes, right? They are giving so much defense penetration and so much anti-infantry skills that basically whenever you are going to see infantry players running on you and you are using this hero pair, you are going to demolish those defensive stats of those infantry hero pairs. So finally, mage players, in general, mages are the counter of the infantry. In the past it was not the case because they were so tanky, but after the addition of these two new mage heroes, they are going to get destroyed, and it will be way more fun for ranged players to actually play in open field PvP, because in the past 2 years I think it was more of a melee players meta in Call of Dragons, in open field especially for infantry and cavalries, and finally we are getting something which is going to destroy those infantry players. So this is the second meta mage hero pair which we have in the game. So if you are either going for Yun Ming or the new mages, because they are going to get you a lot of merits. The next troop type which I want to speak is of course infantry, right? Infantry have been the meta troop type in the game, especially after the introduction of Goresh and Skogul. Basically almost every single infantry, new infantry heroes have been OP, right? Of course, meta means that the best one, and of course infantry also has its meta hero pair, and for me, for infantry players, I believe meta hero pairs are the ones who are the most tanky, who needs a lot of time to actually defeat, right? And I can't really say anything else. This is Kuma. In general, Kuma hero pairs, Kuma and Lake 1, Kuma and Garud even, right? Kuma and Danfel, Kuma and Mogro. Basically, Kuma is the Young Ming of the infantry players, right? Basically, every single infantry main should have this hero, and I believe he's the most tanky. Takes a lot of time to actually defeat this infantry hero and infantry hero pair. So basically, Kuma and Lake 1 should be one of your highest priorities whenever you are thinking of having at least one good infantry hero pair, right? Kuma is different from any other heroes in the game for infantry because it has a life drain, it has a healing, and in general it was a well-known fact that healing was not popular. I have been saying that healing is OP for past 3 years, and finally when developers of Call of Dragons added healing even for the infantry, then of course it was pretty obvious that healing works really well in open field PvP, right? Also, we have to remember that healing also gives you some merits. So first meta hero pair for infantry players is Kuma and Lake 1. And the second one actually is Joren and Elanir, right? Joren and Elanir is not the most tanky hero pairs for infantry players, but they deal one of the highest amount of damage towards your opponents, especially through counterattack, right? Counterattack is basically the skill for infantry heroes and infantry hero pairs, which can deal damage when they are being hit. And of course, as an infantry players, you are always going to get hit whenever you are playing infantry. Joren's and Elanir's main idea is to get as much counterattack damage bonus as possible, like 10% from here, more damage from here, 20% from the second skill, and even for the Elanir, second skill 5%. Yeah, basically everything which this hero pair is going to give you in terms of damage will be through counterattack damage. As I have mentioned before, they might not be the most tanky, but they will give you sometimes even more merits because you are going to deal way more damage towards your opponents whenever they are hitting Joren and Elanir. So these are the two OP and meta hero pairs for infantry players, and hopefully the next ones won't gonna be as good as these ones because I'm literally tired of hitting these infantry heroes and they are so hard to defeat, right? So let's move and let's speak about Cavalry, right? It's really hard to speak about Cavalry's meta hero pairs because generally they are playing with 5 marches, synced up speed. They are like moving around with a one same march speed. Sometimes it feels like there is only one march, but when they are rushing towards you, you understand that actually it's not one march, but it's 5. So, of course, even through this different style of gameplay, Cavalry also has the meta and the best damage dealing hero pairs in the game, right? And of course, I have mentioned it before, but still I believe it's same. Urag and Neya is the most OP meta hero pair for Cavalry players. Simple reason, they are dealing highest amount of damage. out of any other infantry hero pair, and they are going to get you highest amount of merits if you are going to check out them one by one. Also, with the help of the Nea, you are going to have some really cool ability, which is camouflage. Basically, it's a invisibility around the battlefield until you are going to touch somebody. You will be invisible around the map. Of course, there is still a chance that you will be seen, but whenever there is a lot of players around the battlefield, it's really hard to actually detect a camouflaged march, right? So Nea is going to give you camouflage, Nea is going to give you HP bypass, a lot of damage, and Urag basically will and always gives tons of damage, right? Tons of damage from Urag. You can easily run Urag as a primary hero and get the skill talent tree, and the skill talent tree generally is the talent tree for the heroes, which is enhancing the ability, the skill damage factors of the heroes, also some rage accumulations. I think Urag also has 10% rage accumulation speed. Basically, this one hero pair, if you have both of them awakened, will be enough for the players to actually get huge amount of merits on the battlefield. So still, after so many months and even a year, because Urag is G3 hero, Nea is G4, this still is the best march possible which you can get in terms of cavalry gameplay. And of course, I believe this hero pair will be meta hero pair for quite some time. So yeah, for cavalry, I will speak only about one meta hero pair. Maybe you guys in comment section will tell me second meta hero pair for cavalry players, because in general, I'm a ranged player. I know most stuff about ranged troops. So Urag and Nea, cavalry's best meta hero pair for open field PvP. And the last one, for sure, what we have left, right? What we have left. We have archers, and as an archer player, of course, I have highest amount of expertise whenever we are speaking about meta hero pairs, right? Currently, number one and the most powerful meta open field hero pair for the archer players, that's of course Ruby and Kylan, right? There won't gonna be a single other archer hero pair which is going to deal more damage than this one. Not only they have highest amount of damage, they also can deal damage to multiple targets, like 3 legions. Right, like for archers, if you are going to have AoE ability, which is dealing damage to multiple targets, of course it would have been the OP and meta hero pair. I remember when Ruby and Kylan came out, a lot of people said that Magrat and Zaida is still the number one, but no, I was always saying that Ruby and Kylan, since the introduction of them to the game, I always said that Ruby and Kylan will be the number one archer hero pair for open field PvP, and not only for open field PvP, I believe even for the behemoth fights, this should be your number one choice, because still, even if it's a single target damage and there is only one target in behemoths, you need to have the hero pairs which is dealing highest amount of damage. So Ruby and Kylan, in terms of dealing damage to your opponents, there won't gonna be anything better than these ones, right? And of course, I know it's G5 heroes, but still we have to mention them, right? Of course, as a Ruby primary, I run Ruby as a primary. I like precision talent tree on Ruby. I actually prefer Mark of the War, because I played with Mighty Slash maybe like even more than 1 year on other heroes. I just don't like that there is 20 seconds. I believe that's too much. This effect can be triggered once every 20 seconds. Yeah, if it was like 50 or 10 seconds, will be super good, but 20 is too much. Mark of the War is more consistent, you know you are getting the buff, and there is no time limit whenever you are fighting, right? So I believe Mighty Slash shouldn't be the choice, but of course, as always, whenever we are mentioning talent tree and talents, you should put your talents in a way that you are playing the game. So Ruby and Kylan, Roaring Rager, Wind Weasel should be the and is number one meta archer hero pair. And of course, for archers, we have even second one, finally. I have been waiting for this moment to have two OP hero pairs for the archer troops. That's of course Magrat and Zaida, right? Magrat and Zaida is not dealing more damage than Ruby and Kylan, but Magrat and Zaida will survive 10 times more than Ruby and Kylan will ever do. So basically, for dealing damage, Ruby and Kylan, but for survivability, for dealing damage to infantry players, there is still nothing better than Magrat and Zaida. Because the amount of healing this March is doing in open field PvP, that's the March you want to deal damage to infantry players, because those counter-attack damage which they are showing is not really effective against Magrat and Zaida. So basically, finally, for the all archer players and archer mains, finally we have two March, which is basically OP, and hopefully soon we are going to get even the third one, and I can't even wait whenever we're gonna have 5 OP marches for archers, but right now we have 2, and of course next heroes should be archers, and let's see what kind of archer heroes we are going to get whenever they are being introduced. And the last one, which is overall troop type, and we have to speak about overall heroes also, right? Because overall heroes are super good. Well, in the past year it was Musyang, which was OP, and in overall heroes I generally don't like to speak about hero pairs because they work with everything. Like overall heroes work with every single hero. So past year it was Musyang, like first year of Call of Dragons it was Thea, the meta overall hero. Second year it was Musyang, then Bahron was introduced, and Bahron was never the meta hero, but right now in 2026 the meta hero for overall troop type and overall heroes is of course Seluna, right? There is one thing about Seluna. I believe Seluna won't gonna be used with infantries, but other than infantry, for cavalry, for mages, for archers, this hero is going to give you huge amount of damage and huge amount of attributes to deal damage. Basically, if you want to get something which gonna increase your damage towards your opponents, like against infantry, against cavalry, mages and archers, Seluna should be in your march. This is how OP this hero actually is. And if I'm correct, we are also even getting some policies to increase damage of this hero, and I believe that policy is not really necessary because she already deals huge amount of damage. I have seen the reports, I have seen the gameplay of Seluna from my alliance members and ops especially, but yeah, this is just too much damage, too good to miss. So hopefully if you are unlocking legendary Seluna, you are going to put your legendary tokens because it's actually worth it, right? Basically that's it. We got 1 and maximum 2 OP meta hero pairs for every single troop type. There is not a single troop type in the game who has 5 OP hero pairs currently in the game, that's my opinion. And hopefully after watching this video it will be easier for you to understand where to put your legendary tokens and which heroes you have to focus on. As always, if you like the video, press like, subscribe, share. It always gives me more and more motivation to make more content for this game. I wish everybody an amazing day, morning and night. We are going to see each other really soon. Bye bye and good luck.